Are we live? Hello, everybody. Let me check the settings. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm the Grays or Billy. You know me as the Grays on Instagram. We have a new impromptu episode today. We're going to do titled Through the Lens Introduction to Soil Microbiology. So, to know where your farm's at situation wise, you don't really, there's no measurement, there's no metrics to it, like the idea of how much is your business worth or any number. You can't have a number for your farm, like, oh, how big's your farm? Oh, it's this acre. What you're growing this much, this crop. But to know how's your soil like, people would like be taken aback and say, my soil is clayey, it's soft, it's fertile. But when they say all this stuff, it's usually visual, from the surface level, you can see it for grabs. But you get a more objective and detailed result, and you can measure it through the microscope. But not everyone has a microscope, and not everyone know what to check in the microscope, because you can scoop a bunch of soil and then you check it under the microscopic lens and you see a bunch of stuff, a bunch of bacteria or whatever, but you don't know how to identify it. So my guest today, Jeff, or you would know him as the Tropical Farmer on Instagram, he is certified. He has certification under soil microbiology of the Soil Food Web. It's under the researcher. Her name was Ingham. You can find her a lot on YouTube, find her material and literature a lot on YouTube, podcasts. Just hit the word food, soil food web, and it's in-depth knowledge. But the courses she provide, Jeff has gone through them, Jeff has studied them, and Jeff has learned a lot. So today he'll share with us, share with me about what he has learned. All right. Jeff, how are you?
Hey man, how you doing?
Hi. I'm
All
excited to
right,
learn a lot.
all right. We'll go through the basics. We don't need to go too crazy on it. We'll just go have a nice understanding of the soft food web. You got any questions?
Yes. Guys, if you guys have any questions, just hit us up. Just put in the comment section and I will make sure we will answer them.
Yeah. So let's see how to start this. The soil food web is not a big subject here in this country. It's not a big subject because we just don't see it, and it's not taken account for because we're so used to using the NPK, chemical fertilizers, and you know what that does. You know what the NPK does. It's a quick growth, get your plants nice and big, fruit, and then that's it. It dies. But you've got first-hand experience on that. Wait,
Yeah,
no,
it's
what is yours?
using chicken manure, which is might as well be NPK, but it's just literally N, nitrogen.
Here is mostly nitrogen, a lot of
Yeah,
nitrogen,
chicken.
and
Yeah.
it's a quick burst. It's not really stability. You're going for the quick burst.
Basically, it's
It's just
steroids.
yeah. So you see all the plants. They're quick, they're fast, they're skinny, and then they fruit, then they die. It's always a
Mm.
very in my the way I see it, it's short term, very short term. I don't really like going short term. I prefer long term, and that's because we're also in a tropical country. It's better
Yeah.
long term. Remember the
Of
habaneros
course,
I grew?
long. Yes, I do remember it was you can produce weekly. That's like the thing I back then envied the most and got me at awe is your production and harvest consistently and like the amount. you harvest was enough to supply like
Yeah,
one
for
guy to chili to make
for,
chili
for
sauce.
small areas, for small area as well,
It was in
and
your
there was taste.
greenhouse.
Yeah, it was tasty too.
I remember I remember one of my friends, remember you brought him to the farm, he saw the habanero because he wanted to grow habanero for his fertigation. And then you
Yeah,
gave him a bite. He bit the whole thing and like he just died. And it was hot. He took his shirt off, he started to sweat, but it was like heavy rain. And
yeah,
then
I
he was
remember that. Yeah,
just drooling on fire.
yeah, it's a crazy crop when again. So with the soil, if you have good soil biology,
Yeah.
your crops turn out different. The size, the taste, the strength of the crop. Imagine if you grew the chili in just using NPK or just using chicken manure. That's it. It's a fast growth, but the trunk is skinny. And trunk is like a one-way road.
Hmm.
Instead of having a four-lane road, you have a one-lane road. So the amount of nutrients that get to the plant is not as much. Therefore, the
Hmm.
quality goes up. And you realize as well that chili nowadays is not spicy anymore and no flavor.
The spicy bit, I think I'm not a spice king. I can
Right.
I think just like, pepper would make me sweat. My friends make fun of me for that. But like flavor wise, yeah, a lot. Like especially the big chilies when yeah, their spice level is like mild. You expect flavor, but it's just empty.
Yeah. So
It's empty.
to me, it all stems from the soul food web, and
Mm.
it's uh, those quick bursts is not good for the plant. It's not good long term too. Anyway, let's see. Uh, can you put the picture up?
Okay, let's see. All right, at the stream. There we go.
Can I? Okay, how do I do this? Uh, can we start with this one? Oh no! All right. No. Okay. No. 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 I'll have to do it like this. Hold
You
on.
got it? No problem.
Okay, this one. So imagine the soil food web like this. Hello? Yep.
Yeah? You got the
Yeah.
picture? I see it. There you go.
Yeah. So
Beautiful.
imagine the soil food web like that. Yeah. So you start with the food web. You know the food web, yeah? Or
Yeah.
food chain. Yeah?
The food chain is the most like how to say common bit that people are familiar with.
Yep, yep. Can you explain it?
The food chain or the food web?
Food web, food chain. This one.
Okay. Let me share screen because I have a better photo picture of it. The food
Yep.
web. Give me a moment. Okay, let me find. I'll share screen. There we go.
Yeah,
Can
so
you
it
see
starts
it?
with the food web. No,
Can
no,
you
no. No, no,
not
no,
that?
no. That's a soil food web. You're talking about the food chain.
The food chain.
You understand? You understand the difference?
Yes, I do.
See this? This are large animals.
Mm.
You don't get it mixed up. You got a soil food web, you got a food chain. The food
Oh,
chain, you got
they're
the
two
eagle,
different things.
two different things. What eats the tree? The crickets. What eats the crickets?
The
The birds.
birds.
What eats the birds? The
Bigger
snake or
birds.
bigger birds. Or what can eat the eagle? The snake. What can eat the monkey? food chain.
Mm.
Were, were you taught
What's
this?
as a kid? Yeah, as in like
Yeah, so you try to bring it back. What ate what? What ate what? You know?
basically we got the idea that like human are always on top of the food chain because we're like apex predator, but most of the time
Yeah,
it's always giving the
but a
vibe
snake
like
can kill a human, dude. A
what do
snake
you
can kill a
say?
human. A snake can kill a
Yeah,
human. A tiger can kill a human. A crocodile can kill a human.
yeah, yeah. So what
It's
is your
different.
point in the food chain or the food web?
So if you understand the food web, then you'll understand the soil food web.
So what is the difference between chain and web?
Same.
It's the
Same.
same.
It's just I'm trying to tell you the large animals, if you can understand this, then when you go down to the soil food web, you'll understand it immediately.
Okay, okay. In a way, it's like
Okay?
each role feeds each part of the chain feeds a subsequent part within
Yeah.
the whole chain. Yeah, I get you.
You
I
get
get
it?
you. Yeah, most people would get it. It's understandable.
Yeah, because the first thing you'll think is you won't understand the soil food web because it's on a different, you're talking about different things.
Hmm.
Okay, can you bring up the soil food web now?
This one.
Yeah, so you see
Do I see? Yeah,
arthropods.
it starts from the left, right? From the
Yeah.
plants, or whereas the sun, it starts from the sun. The sun gives the food light to the plant, and then the plant will give food to the bacteria, and then it would chain along. Is that what you're trying to say?
So everything starts from the plants. Everything starts from the plants. From the plants, you can see there from the plants you got fungi. Fungi
Yeah.
and nematodes and bacteria. Then from that you got the protozoa. And what eats protozoa? The nematodes. What else? The anthropods eat the nematodes. Nematodes eat nematodes, and then from nematodes to anthropods. Then the birds eat the anthropods. Then what eat basically animals start eating the arthropods. So it starts on the minute scale.
It goes even smaller. Is that what you're saying?
It goes even smaller because bacteria. We'll try and look into bacteria in a minute, later on. So it starts from bacteria. Bacteria is just a teeny tiny speck. You can't see it unless you got a microscope. So from a bacteria, uh, protozoas will consume it. Nematodes will consume it. Nematode is the worm-like thing. It's not a worm. It looks like a worm, but it's not an actual worm. Nematodes can only see it via microscope. Then then it goes up and up and up and up and up all the way to
So,
humans.
so which of these animals within the soil food web that you can see without the microscope? Is it arthropods and beyond?
Arthropods.
The arthropods.
Arthropods. You can see arthropods.
Mm. Okay, okay. So there are bigger arthropods that eat the small ones. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's like chickens. When you view chickens, when you're observing chickens, and when they eat, usually you can't see what they eat. Well, one is pretty fast, but they can see stuff that we can't see.
Oh yeah, I remember you mentioned that their eyes are completely different because their eyes are actually like microscopic.
Yeah, they can see the arthropods. They can really see them. And then, why do you think they scratch the ground and eat? Yeah, they pick out worms and stuff, but they keep
Sometimes
scratching the
you
ground.
look at them, they're like pecking on nothing. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
So they're
can't
technically
see.
eating like very small arthropods.
Yeah, so that's the
Mm,
soul food web. So you gotta understand you don't have a healthy soil food web, you don't have a you won't have a very good land. You won't
Mm.
have really good healthy soil because then you won't have good vegetables or crops or trees, and you won't have good produce, and you get vegetables or fruits. You get produce that is devoid of nutrients, and then you get disease. You know what?
So basically,
Remember what?
a lot of people like want to clean their soil. You know how they're like afraid of microbes. They say like, oh, it would infect the plants. You have to sterilize your soil and tools, especially like in the greenhouse sense. Have
Yeah,
you ever
yeah.
have you ever come
They think
across
they
that?
want to. Yeah, they say they want to sterilize because they're scared of bacteria. But come on, you gotta educate yourself a bit more. Bacteria is everywhere. It's on your skin. It's everywhere. It's
It's
just
inescapable.
yeah. Bacteria is
So
the start. Is the
yeah,
beginning.
it's like microbial foundation to life. Is that what you're saying?
That's it.
Oh, wow. Okay. So the idea of food web, the soul food web, what it's teaching you is that microbiology is where you should focus on when you're doing. It's like the first thing you should get right in a farm. Is that what you're saying? Would you agree with that? It's like it's one of the first thing you should get right.
Yeah, your foundations. Concentrate on the foundations. If you're doing vegetables, you gotta be more bacterial based. If you're doing trees,
Woody
you gotta be more
crops.
fungal based. Yeah, you told me. Remember, if when all of these are not met, a plant will get diseased. And remember
Yeah.
what you said about disease?
Yes. Like is it called the morphology? If you look at the word disease and then you break it down, you actually split into two. The word disease, it has the prefix of dis, and then the root word is ease, right? So it's like you put stress. It is from a state of healthy soil, healthy plant. It's at ease. But if you take that away, and then you put stress upon it, you take it off ease. So it's dis-ease. Like dispose. You throw it away. You basically bring imbalance to the plant. That's why they get, not to the plant, but to any organism. That's why they get dis-ease. So is that what you're saying? Like the plant just gets sick because it's not getting it easy. Is that what you're saying?
It's not healthy. Yeah.
Yeah.
The the clue is all in the wording. It's all in the words.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So
Do
here,
you have more photos?
can you see it?
I'll share it. Is this right here?
I just pulled it from Google. These are just images of what bacteria would look like. These are 3D images. But if you look at the top left-hand corner of the black and
Yeah.
white,
The
yeah,
yeast
so
bacteria.
yeah, small e dots, bacteria is like that. It's everywhere. Don't get
Mm-hmm,
scared of
mm-hmm.
it. These colors, I think these guys just colored it in, but
Yeah,
don't be
usually
scared
it's
of
just color.
yeah, don't be
Uh,
scared of these things. It's fine. It's all right. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Let's see. Da, 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 da. It's a cool thing
so
if you go into these things.
I have a question for you about your, let's say, your time within the course. So, for a person like on an average person, okay, they're listening to this, they say the microbiology is important. Yes, don't be afraid of bacteria, don't be afraid of microbes. Yes, but how do you identify like the ones I showed in the diagram of the food web, how do you identify a nematode that's feeding on fungus or feeding on bacteria? How do you identify a fungus? How do you identify types of bacteria, you know, because there are more than one bacteria species, of course. So is that what you learn in the soil food web?
This is what I learned. Yes, I learned this. But for a farmer to identify this, they really can't unless they give the sample to a certified scientist, I guess, or someone, a microbiologist, someone who
Mm,
has been who knows what to look for. Then yeah,
mm,
but it's if you're not a if there is no one around you, then just understand what compost is. Because a good compost will have all of this. So
yes.
indications of good compost is light, fluffy, no smell. If you compress it and then open it, touch it, it breaks into pieces. It's aerated.
Spongy?
Yeah, light, airy. Those are very good indicators. And if you see lots of life in the soil and it's a dark chocolate color, that's a very good
70%, right?
indicator. Yeah, that's a
Mm.
very, very good indicator. If you go with that, the soils are pretty nice. Hang on. I don't know if you can see.
Mm. What's that? Is that compost?
No, it's just a soil I picked out from my pot.
Soil, okay.
So it's very light, very fluffy. It won't kick up. It's very little clay content. That's how you can know you've got good soil. And also, yeah, that's how you know you can get very good soil. Bad soil is like this. Yeah, I could put this on the presentation. Yeah. So
Sorry, I can't see anything. All right, before you get to it, so how does one destroy? I got an idea of it, so I can describe it to you guys. But from experience, like what Jeff explained, compost or good soil is usually like dark, rich, full of life. You can actually see the macrobiology of those little critters crawling around. And most of the time, we destroy it by exposing the soil to sunlight. Then it gets dried up and hard and cakey, and that's where everything dies. And that's like most farms we see in Brunei. It actually just unattended and the opposite of alive. It's really dead. So that's bad soil. Clayey, hard, and dry. That's not what you want. Is that like a very like basic explanation of bad soil, Jeff?
yeah, Brunei soil in general is tough as nails. It's pounded by the rain. Has a lot of clay content. It it can't breathe. It's really hard.
So it's basically our climate that changed it, right? Like from the picture you're sharing right now, like this picture. This is like
Yeah,
you can say the average soil that is exposed to the elements. Bare soil, like bare soil. This is what will happen if your soil is bare, left out in the rain and sun.
tropical tropical climate is hot, blazing sun, then heavy downpour.
Hmm.
Tropical weather is very harsh. That's why we have jungles. And the jungle is a way to protect the soil by the leaves falling and all the branches falling down. That's how it protects the soil. Then, when you cut all that out, you kill all the life forms. You kill the rain will compact the ground like the picture you can see, and then you got trouble. The acidity will grow up, organic matter floods away. You can see a bit of algae forming on the top. can't
That the,
breathe.
the algae bit is very common because I had that in my first farm around the beds. Uh, like you mentioned, sometimes heavy rain occurs, right? And then it would flood our beds and stuff and our walkway. And then when the dry season comes, you see it cracks up like this. It's exactly like this. Like this area you're showing in the picture. When it rained, it was flooded. Was it? For us, the soil, if it's like this, it was flooded. That's why the algae formed because there was water present, and then sunlight hit it.
Yeah, it's not good. It's really not good. Gotta see. That's another topic. You got to figure a way to not get to that state. It's
Avoid
really
it at all costs. Is that what you're
avoid it at
saying?
all costs if you can.
Yeah.
Seriously, if you can avoid it, avoid it. So the one of the best tools, you got to aerate the soil before you use the soil. Let me find that picture for you. You got to aerate the soil like this. So aerate the soil first, and then start adding your compost, your organic matter, your enzymes, everything, anything that has life. Bring it in, and it will give it that life that it needs. But it still takes time. You don't expect it to be immediate. Don't no no. Just give it some time. You'll get there.
So what did you do to aerate the soil? Like, how would you do it?
Yeah.
If someone
This
says
one I just used a shovel.
you just pierce the ground, lift it up, and then leave it.
Yeah, yeah. And then I added stuff on top. I mean, you can till it. You
Yeah,
can
because
till
that's
it,
that's
but
like the most basic approach to for anyone
till it one
caring.
time, till it one time, and then don't bother tilling again.
What did you add
That's a
here?
very that's a very technical way of growing. If you till it one time only, it turns into a no dig bed.
No dig bed or no till farming. A lot of people say they
No,
do no till farming.
yeah, but this is Brunei. You till it first, and then you don't dig it again. You don't do anything again. You only
Mm.
add to it.
So the main purpose of tilling is to reintroduce oxygen.
Yeah, break everything up.
Mm, mm, mm. So
Best is to
after best is to what?
rent.
Rent a tiller.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So after you till it like this, what are well, let's say things you add to make sure it reaches the soil food web? Going back to soil food web.
The main thing is compost. If you got compost, if not compost, you add organic matter. You add as much organic matter as you can, and just don't stop.
So
Really.
keep feeding,
Yeah.
keep
Keep feeding
feeding
the
the
soil.
soil.
Yeah. Keep feeding the
So add
soil.
chop and drop. Keep Make sure it's always covered and plant. I believe planting is the most important bit
Yep.
because like my
Yep.
experience at the current farm right now, like we did that. I mentioned we had an excavator come in and clear the things out. It was worrying because we didn't want the soil to become what you showed in the previous picture. If you can show it again, the it would become like what you see here. Oh, this is a good example of how to make sure it doesn't die using that fork because we have that tool too. So I use that to fork up the land and then cover it immediately.
Yeah. This is a good tool if your soil is at a fairly good condition. If your soil is clayey and just big chunks, just use a spade or junk ball.
Just one time,
Just-
just one time.
yeah, or a tiller if you can. Just don't worry about it. Just go for it. Okay.
Let me
All
find
right.
a picture of the farm right now. Like what we did is basically like I learned a bit of soil food web, and like the main message is you gotta mulch and mulch and mulch. That's like the best, simplest solution to prevent your soil becoming barren. But also it's the plant, because what feeds the microbes at a more like constant rate is living actual living plants, because that's one of the earliest things, right, for the soil food web. The plants feed the soil, the microbes. I remember what I learned. I overheard someone when we are discussing is like the beta glucose, the sugar that is formed through photosynthesis of the plant. I think it was in the video in one of the soul food web. It's like 50% of the energy, the sugar produced through photosynthesis, goes into feeding the microbes around the roots. That's how important microbiology is to the plant, that it would invest 50% of its energy source in feeding the microbes. And then like she talked about how there's a trade going on. Like the roots, the plants would feed the microbes, and then the microbes would eat the sugar, and then it would like in a way poop out, or in exchange change currency, different specific nutrients that the plant needs. Is that explanation like can
Yeah,
say
yeah,
accurate?
yeah. Your roots are your best friends. It's a beginning, so you can
So
you grow something, anything, whatever. Just grow something, throw something in the ground if you want to get something started. Don't grow what crop you growing.
at the current farm is mainly chilies. Yeah, chilies,
Yeah.
bananas.
So chili is a fairly advanced crop
It is.
because
It is.
any crop that pushes out food is an advanced crop. You need
Mm.
a sacrificial crop.
So
Then
that's where
your
we planted like ubi kayu and bitter leaves. We treat
yeah,
that
but
as
you got no
a
leguminous
sacrificial.
trees there.
What?
You got no leguminous trees there. If you're talking
No,
about
we
root
don't.
structures, yeah, if you're talking about root structures, leguminous trees are still the best. They have nodes that give off nitrogen, and if you
Mm.
prune them constantly, they will
Yeah.
keep on giving off nitrogen, and they'll release their roots, and they'll die. The roots will die, and then the roots will turn into compost corridors. You still lack uh, you still lack leguminous trees as sacrificial crops. If you
Yeah.
grow the bitter leaf, yeah, that's great and everything, but you'll see that the bitter leaf, due to the compaction of the land, the roots go sideways. They still go
Ah.
sideways. Don't really go down that deep. It's still softwood. You want roots that can keep on going down. The best way is by pruning and pruning and pruning and pruning, so it grows and just prune and prune and prune. You still need leguminous trees. Your cut and drop, yeah, you got grass, it's wonderful. You have grass to cut and all that jazz. You
Hmm.
still need leguminous trees. I don't care. You still need leguminous
So
trees. A
so
lot.
the nitrogen fixers look like this, like their roots.
Yeah, you see those nodes, the nodules there. So when
Hmm.
you press those nodules, if you find them and you press them, and a bit of and there's a tint of red, then it's a very healthy nodule, and it fixes nitrogen. It takes it from the air and releases it in the ground in small amounts.
Ah, okay. So
That's why in my farm I grew nitrogen fixers.
So what did you grow as nitrogen fixers if it's not ironweed?
Nitrogen trees, leguminous trees.
Like moringa? How can you identify? Could you give us like some species that we can find here in Brunei?
If you type leguminous trees, they all have the same trait, which is the structure of the leaf. If you look at the structure of the leaf, they all have the same trait. You just look for that leaf.
All right. Hmm.
They all have the pods too. Yeah. So if it's got a pod, and you look at the leaves, the structure of the leaf, no, those are leguminous trees. Yep. There you go. See, so anything like that,
Yeah.
these trees
Anything with these
grow.
pods.
You grow these trees, you grow them, you cut them, you drop them, and you keep repeating that.
We would
You
see this a lot. Yeah.
So in time, your land just gets better and better. These are what you call pioneering species. And
Hmm.
acacia is a leguminous tree too. So all of these are pioneering species. You still lack this on your farm. Or
100%. 100%.
I would say 99 or 100% of all farms in Brunei do not have these sacrificial trees.
How did you find your sacrificial trees?
By the side of the road. It,
Ah.
it, it grows everywhere, and it keeps its seeds. I have no idea how many times a year it seeds. It constantly seeds. Just take the seed, throw it into the ground, grab a handful, grab as much as you like, throw it in the ground. You just need a handful of trees to grow up, and then you're good to go.
I believe this is the one we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Acacia mangium.
So
It
this
would
is
look
the one
like
that
this.
runs. So this is the one that runs rampant in Brunei.
So
Why do
this
you
is a
think it
legume
runs rampant?
because it's such a strong species. Is it invasive? That's my question.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
It's not
But
a
why?
native plant.
No, it came from Australia.
Why did it run rampant?
Because it's that good. It loves
It's a
it here.
legume because it thrives in hard soil.
This is what causes the fire down the road in Syria, KB. This is what
Hmm.
causes the fire. The leaf itself has a very thin layer of oil, especially when it's dry. Then the hot weather, the hot sun, one spark, boom, fire.
So would you recommend someone planting this fire hazard?
Yes.
Oh, okay. We have a
The
couple of
reason
these though
why,
in the farm.
do you?
Young ones. It's growing a lot, so I should keep them. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Let them grow. What you lack is the understanding of the purpose of the tree.
Hmm.
Now, what's the point of growing this invasive tree that just grows everywhere, tough as nails, and what's the point? The whole point of this tree is to fix the land. So it's pioneering the land. The land is bad, so this grows, and as it grows, you prune it, you cut it down, let it grow again, and repeat. You get it to a point that you get it to a point where you believe the soil has reached a good fertility. Then you start planting your local species. So you turn that pioneering acacia tree into a succession. So for anyone that's growing a durian plantation, I would recommend you plant acacia first if it's an empty land. You Plant acacia first, let them grow. Then the acacia, when they're big enough, they can shelter the durian trees when they're small. Every rainy season, you prune the acacia, prune the bark, prune the tree, drop the leaves, drop the twigs, all onto the floor, create that fungal dominated soil which the
Mm.
durian trees like, and then you actually grow a very healthy durian tree, and it probably tastes amazing, and you can corner the market because of that. No joke.
No joke. Wow.
No joke. Look, it's due to impatience because you're impatient. You clear the land, then you plant the durian tree. It's a baby. Durian trees will last a few hundred years if grown correctly. So you planted it immediately. So it's like a baby. So when you have a baby, you're not going to put the baby out in the hot sun. You're not going to let the baby just wander
No, no, no.
around by itself and take care of yourself. I'll give you some water and food once in a while, but take care of yourself.
So it's like a baby in college. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So you grow the acacia tree and let the acacia tree protect the durian tree for a good 5, 7 years, something like that. But every year you prune the acacia tree. Prune it, and you don't need to buy fertilizers. So by pruning the trees, you drop all the leaf, all the bark, drop it all onto the ground. The soil will consume it, and then because the trunk and the twigs are carbon based, it'll turn into a fungal dominated soil which will work together with the durian tree, and you will get an amazing product. You see
Do you
that?
see the photo I share? This is
Yeah,
like
you see
what
that?
most people would do. This, right?
This is what everyone does. Not most, everyone. Because you're
I want
impatient.
I want a closer picture of that.
That's
It's like
impatient right there.
people would just clear the land. This is my first-hand experience as well. Like they clear the land and then they plant the trees just like this, right?
Yep.
They plant the trees all in like uniform spacing, uniform distance, and they clear the grass. They even want to like make sure there's no grass growing, so they would spray herbicides, and then they would worry about the sun, so they would add shade cloth over it. But that is so laborious for one plant, let alone you can see there's 100 durian trees here. You can tell, right? So now just like
Yeah.
imagine doing this over and over again for 100 plants. And these guys don't last long. These shade cloth, they deteriorate under our hot, hot sun and rain. So you have to like renew that every like 3 months because it would rip and then it would get in the soil. And then even if you put weed mat, weeds still go through them. So you have to cut the grass again. So it's like it's almost insane. Like I mentioned before, it's insane.
It's not
And
almost insane, it is insane.
it is insane. Yes, it is insane.
If you understand, once you understand the soil food web and understand the difference between bacteria dominated soil and fungal dominated soil, you can use that to your advantage. So with land like that, you can tell it's turned into a bacterial dominated soil because it's mostly grass, and grass loves bacteria. When it's a
Mm.
jungle slash forest, it's a fungal dominated soil. That's why you have big trees. That's and very little grass. That's the difference between fungal and bacterial. Bacterial, good for vegetables, not good for trees. Fungal, good for trees, not good for
Mm.
vegetables. So a land like that, the proposal for a land like that, yeah. So that's a fungal.
So what does it mean
It's
when you say that? Most
the
people
white
wouldn't
stuff. You
understand
see
that.
the white stuff. You see that
Yeah,
white webbing? That's fungal. Just just take it like that. You don't have to go too in depth. If you see that bottom right hand corner, if you
this
see
one.
that, if you see that, you got good, healthy fungal soil.
Mm,
If you see that, and then if you see a mushroom, that means mushroom is the fruit of the fungal.
the fruit of mycelia, right?
Yeah, the fruit of mycelia. That sounds
I
right.
always see this actually in the farm. This is quite common.
So that's a good thing.
That's a good
If
sign
you're
for
growing chili,
chilies, right?
if you're growing chili, then it should be more. It should be fungal.
It's what are you talking about? It's something like this, right? Let's see. Let's find
Yeah,
a nice photo. So it's from the spores, it germinates into mycelium, and then it gets bigger and mature into the fruiting body, which is the mushroom.
that's right.
So when you get this, it's a great sign that you have at your farm.
Yes,
Right here.
yes, that's a good thing. It's a very good thing.
So how do you achieve this? How do you achieve mycelia? How do you achieve fungal dominance?
More carbon based compost. That's we won't get into that. No.
Ah,
We
okay,
won't get
okay,
into that.
okay.
That's a carbon based. That's a carbon based compost.
Mm, okay.
So we're not going to go into that. All right. So uh, going into succession growing, that's a whole new topic. And going into succession, that's a whole different topic.
So going
You know
back
what
to
I mean?
food soil web, right? So with succession planting and the knowledge of soil food web, how do you make them connect with like the pioneering trees?
Yeah, that's a whole topic on its own. That's a whole new. That's a whole different topic. Don't really want to go into that. That one you need
It is
presentation. You
very
need slide.
deep. Yeah,
That
it's
one
very
goes very
deep.
deep. So don't make me go down that rabbit hole.
Okay, so on surface level, what else do you want to, discuss or show
Okay,
or
let's
share?
see if this. Right. So we can play with the microscope. I've set my microscope up, so we can try and play with the microscope. Hold on. You carry on talking, dude. Hello?
All right.
Please. While I set up, you carry on, please.
Okay. So, I did learn a bit about soil microbiology. I watch a lot of Ingham's work. So let me share the screen here. I just give you the basics, okay? So you can find her on YouTube. She has great content and like great explanation about soul food web. It's Dr. Elaine Ingham. So here you can see great basic content of how you're gonna basically revitalize your farm and like important keywords she would bring up is like soil structure. You can see Jeff right now, he's setting up his microscope. Just leave him be for a bit, don't mind him. But yeah, soil food structure, let me just add this. So there's terms like soil food, soil structure. She talks about how The physical traits of the soil can determine the microbiology. Sometimes you have clayey soil, loamy soil, sandy soil. Sometimes your soil looks like this. Most people, their soil looks platy or massive, just chunky, which is not really ideal for a root because it's too hard. And you can tell water does not permeate through that. So we want to get not single grain because that's too sandy. You want to get into a nice center of granular loam. That's where you have to like make sure all the microbes are alive and fed with your plants. Let's see, like, for example, what we have here. Soil type. Like this is the scientific chart on how you can see soil. Most of it is clay. This is too deep, but let me look for, let's see, clayey soil. Right, this is what we usually get, right? This is very hard clay. And if you try to imagine your roots trying to grow through that, it'll take a lot of energy to make their roots pierce through the hard structure of clay when it could have used its energy to, invest in its fruit or leaf or integral structure of the stalk. If you just grow straight up on bad soil, you're basically giving it the opposite of a head start. You're giving it more trouble than help. And then there's like methods on how to break the soil down, but that's getting a bit too technical. But the most basic thing is if you take care of the soil, you cover the soil, you'll create a healthy environment for it. And then you will avoid this mess, basically. You want to avoid this at all costs. I got more pictures. Let me find. Hmm, let's see. Give me a moment, guys. I appreciate you guys checking in. Like, let me see. So right here. Like, if you can see it here. This is the basic stuff about soil food web, soil structure to be more specific. Good soil, it's loamy, water can pass through way easy for you. And the inside there's like healthy microbes, oxygen. Like here is this is bacteria. And then here you can see those little guys, that's bacteria, and then those long web-like are fungus. That's like good microbiology when you have a healthy balance of those two. And then of course the diagram shows, the beautiful roots when you plant. This is like good case, the best case scenario. But in Brunei, you don't have the best case scenario. Most of the time our soil would look like that, sandy and clayey, right? Because we have machinery, we have people, sometimes we have animals. Yeah. And then this is what Jeff is talking about when I brought up my bitter leaf that I planted at my farm right now. The roots would just grow sideways. It wouldn't pierce through. What I needed is those pioneering leguminous crops like the acacia. And then they go for the explanation. Yeah, not so good. It floods. We have a lot of flooding in our farmland here because of our soil permeability is so poor. So yeah, basic knowledge is our soil is made out of three basic components: sand, silt, and clay. But in Brunei, we have a lot of sand and clay, and a lot of clay in, like, how to say, the mountainous regions here. And you can see the structure of clay. It's like, it looks like a plate. It's flat. It's flat and compact. So, da, 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 da. Okay, about clay. This is my favorite bit. Like, this is what I always show the people I'm teaching and consulting. This is what clay is. This is what, how to say, clay soil is like. How to explain how it became so compact. It's like platelets. It's like little pepperonis. You're just layering. And this is like even compressed by machinery and rain. And you imagine all that density. It's not gonna let your roots go through. Because, like, it's hard. That's why clay pots happen. You feel clay pots, they're just solid. Imagine a root going through that. Some plants can do that, but they're not fruiting for you. The one that fruits for you, you need to give it a lot of, like, TLC, tender loving care. You want to give it a lot of love to your crops. So if you give it the opposite of love, which is clayey soil, it's gonna struggle and die. You don't want your plants to grow in clay soil. So to prevent that, the most basic is just cover them with mulch, cover them with organic matter, and grow other things with it. Don't go individualistic. You know, let's go back to the picture I had. So you don't want it to grow. You don't want to do it like what you see online, how people grow, how people do their farm, like so individual. It's sad. It's not natural. It's off. Let me find it right now. You don't want this. Like, this looks great at first. Like, this is what people imagine a proper farm is supposed to look like, because it's neat and tidy and pretty. But like in our previous podcast, things that are pretty end up being pretty useless, because if you look at this from a, like, if you really think about it from a farmer point of view, and also importantly a business stance, you're investing a lot of time, a lot of money and effort for something that would return within a decade at least, durian trees, for example. And like, you just spend it all on maintenance, grass cutting, adding fertilizer, putting the sunshade over the plants, hiring the people. This method that, disregards soil food web, it's just gonna bring your farm to a downfall, financially, emotionally, everything. It's not good for the environment. The soil you end up will be just like sand and clay and compact. Your plants will all die and fail, and all these failure will just add cost to your business, and then eventually you'll give up and then close your farm, which is heartbreaking, because in Brunei, you can see a lot of farmers, they start out, like Jeff mentioned earlier, without patience. They go big in the first year, and then they harvest big. It's great. They have pictures, they harvested a lot of vegetables or fruits, and then they would get a lot of, like, praise and stuff. But later on, you would wonder, like, oh, what happened to this farm? I remember last year they had a great harvest. Oh, they closed down. Oh, they stopped. Why? It's hard to maintain, because they don't, not necessarily they don't think, but they did not take account of the future. They did not have the proper foresight on how to run a farm and how to make the farm work for them. That's the most important. That's the beauty of soil food web, is that you actually create the foundation with patience that it would basically end up having an environment that would work for you. Because all you do is just chop and drop for the food web. Eventually, the soil would just get so healthy, everything just grows with ease. Not dis-ease, but with ease. And if everything's easy in your farm, it'll end up working for you. All you have to do is just go by there, check it out, prune a bit, and then come back to the farm. You see fruit harvest, and that's it. That's our goal. But to achieve that, you need an understanding about the soil food web, a basic, at least the basics. Hey Jeff, are you all right there with your microscope?
Yeah,
How are you?
man. I'm just listening to what you're saying. Yeah, I totally agree. The idea of organics, people in general will think it's very.
It's tough. People say it's tough, it's slow.
Yeah, but everything's tough. Everything is tough. So what you can do about it? It's just that in organics, in the beginning, it's tough, but as time goes, it just gets easier and easier. But just give
But
it
what
some
most
time.
Yeah, but what most people do not have is the patience, and more importantly, the understanding of why we're doing organic farming. This goes back to again why we started this channel, we started pumping out this podcast, is because we want to, like, yeah, like, very cliche as it is, raise awareness about organic farming, and, like, more specifically, farming in tropical climate, especially in Brunei. Again, Brunei is very unique, as Jeff mentioned before. Our climate, our environment is so unique compared to other tropical countries, Philippines, Indonesia, Thailand, South America. They're all tropical, but what makes Brunei so different is because one main reason is we don't have natural disasters. We don't have tsunamis that would bring in, you know, minerals from the ocean. We don't have volcanoes that would bring in minerals and fertilizers deep down the earth, like Philippines and Indonesia. That's why they're so. That's why they have great crops there: coffee, chocolate, especially chocolate. In Philippines, chocolate plantation there is like a tourism a tourism hotpot, man. They would have cocoa farms in their land near the volcanoes. Mangoes in Philippines, their mangoes is like abundant, so abundant, Jeff, that it would, like, how to say, oversaturate their market, and they would have a problem of too much excessive
That's when you can
mangoes.
export.
Yeah, but they have too much, to the extent where even the homeless don't even want to eat the mangoes. Like, the streets would be polluted with fresh mangoes. That's how fertile their land is. They have a mango problem. But for Brunei, it's like, you want to grow something, they just struggle in this heat, this soil. Is because, again, we have a very unique situation here. That's
Well,
why
I got my
Jeff.
theory from that.
Yeah, yeah. But you have your theory, but you also put into practice your practical experience of almost can you say a decade of experience?
Yeah, you could say that.
Like, almost a decade of experience with farming in Brunei's climate. As much as, like, we listen to other people, they still do not understand our climate. Like, outside experts from Thailand, Philippines, or Indonesia, they would say, like, "Oh yeah, it's possible to grow in a tropical country. It's easy to grow. It's fertile." it's great. But for Brunei, they feel like, why is it not working? Why is their method not working? It's because it's a whole different ball game. You know, if you look at this picture, right, you can see clear difference. One, the land is huge. This is obviously in Malaysia because of all the abundance of palm plantation around. And if you look at the sky, not every day Brunei is like this. It's like 5% of the year or 10% of the year it would have climate weather like this. But majority of the time it's like bare sky or heavy rain, bare sky, blue, hot days, or heavy rain. That fluctuation of temperature, you need to see that as an advantage, but most people would see that as a disadvantage because they're looking through the long lens. They're looking through the wrong lens because they're using the wrong method. They're copying other people. We have to realize that copying other people is senseless because we're not other people. We're unique individuals. This country is a unique environment. We cannot copy. We have to accept the reality, accept the environment, and then work with the environment. That's why Soul Food Web, it's saying, it's not selling you anything. It's not like, oh, buy my magic elixir, your farmland would grow 1,000 kilos of rice. No, they're saying the main point, how you're gonna achieve food web is you feed the soil organic matter that's already present in your environment. You can never have no organic matter in your farmland. There's something growing. You have to observe. There's something growing. Like I mentioned to Jeff, I have acacia trees growing in my farm, but I didn't realize its use. I mean, I didn't realize its benefits, so I just chop it down. Whereas I should have planted it. I should have replanted it. I should have let it grow and then just, conservatively prune it, not chop it down and throw it away. So I have to use what is uniquely present in my situation and make it an asset. Jeff and I were talking about the weather, the climate here. It's an asset. The aggressive heat, the aggressive rain. What Brunei stands out the most? Like, what is Brunei's, agricultural advantage over majority of the other country is that we have forgot how I said it. A high rate of vegetation. How did I say it, Jeff? High rate of vegetative death.
Yeah,
I forgot. It's
vegetated. Yeah, we
like
have
that.
ours is vegetation. Yes, we got to concentrate
Uh,
on vegetation.
we have an aggressive vegetation here, as in things grow very fast. And like when I say things grow very fast, it's like the wild greeneries. It's not our crop. Unfortunately, it's not our crop, but we can change that we can change it from a how to say from a bad situation to the solution. You know, because like when you're maintaining a farm, people get overwhelmed from the weeds, but you can use the weeds to your advantage. Like Jeff always say to me, the problem is usually the solution. But that's a whole different topic of its own. How are you, Jeff, with your microscope?
Yeah, fantastic, fantastico.
Shall I share it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We see black. Oh,
Yeah,
we're
no,
seeing
I'm
something
moving
here.
it.
We're
Hold on,
seeing
I'm moving it.
something.
That's why. Hang on, hang on, hang on. How is the video?
Yep, we can see it. It's blurry because you're moving, but we can see
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm still moving it. Hold on. Just to update you guys, this is my vermicompost sample. So this is what the worms poop out. This is really good stuff. Right, so here we go, here we go. Here's one that's dormant. Let me help you guys. Full brightness, hang in there. Okay, here we go. Do you see what I see?
So it's like a nematode.
That's a nematode. When you have these guys in your soil, it's a very good thing. Now we're going to figure out what sort of nematode this is. What do you think it is?
I wouldn't know, Jeff. I really wouldn't. How what? How am I supposed to know what are there? Like, what's the types of nematode to look out for?
There's one. There's 5 types of nematodes. It's fine. All right. What do you see? What do you see? Let me see what you see. Yeah. Okay. So these nematodes are your. Okay. If you look around the nematode, you see a lot of small dots.
Yeah,
Those
I
small
do.
dots are bacteria. Yeah. So those small dots are bacteria. That's the main food for all the organisms that's inside. There's probably some amoebas.
Can you zoom in
Where
more in the screen?
hold on. No, no. Look, this one's a good boy.
A good boy.
You're really good. You're not moving around that much. You're just trying to identify what it is. What is this? I'm still learning. Okay. All right. Give me a chance.
So those little dots are bacteria.
Yeah. Wait. Okay. Hold on. I saw a root. I saw a bacteria feeder just now, and it was a greedy one too. You see the white? Oh no, I can't see it. You see
Okay, it
the
disappeared.
you see that splotch, whatever that splotch is.
That big part in the center over there.
Yeah, so that's an organic piece. That's an organic matter. It's and that is where a lot of the organisms will hang out.
Like the bacteria would consume the organic matter, I assume.
Something like that.
Is this a very zoomed version of it?
Yeah,
Oh, I
the,
see
the
it. I see.
400.
Are those the bacteria around the like the edge of that
Yep.
organic matter? There, yeah.
No, yeah, they're like tiny, teeny dots. They're just moving
Bro, that looks kind of grossing.
non-stop.
That looks fascinating and gross at the same time, man.
It is, but it's such a great sample. When you when you get a sample like this, yeah, it's fantastic, beautiful. Your plants will do well with this. Really great. If you see when I see samples with nothing inside, not good, not good at all.
So what is this? A soil sample or is this your compost sample?
Yeah, this is a vermicompost sample.
Ah, okay.
So this is what vermicompost produces. Yeah, amazing stuff. Right, so here's a really nice, fairly active. So this is a bacterial feeder. This one I know.
Whoa, it's moving, dude.
if you look at the body, oh, it's constantly moving. It's hard for you to guys to see. Yeah, yeah. Maybe like this.
How do you distinguish these nematodes? Is it their behavior or actual like how their body looks?
It's what's inside the
Oh,
body.
oh, it's like an X-ray, man.
It's what's inside the
Wow.
body. So if you
I
look
see
at
black dots.
the, it's what?
I see black dots.
Yeah. So you see the black dots inside.
Yeah.
All of that is bacteria.
So that those are dead bacteria inside its stomach.
Well, he's eating it. He's eating the bacteria. So he
Can you
eats the
zoom in?
bacteria and he eats the bacteria and then he poops it out. After he poops it out, the your plant will consume that nutrient.
Wow. So it
So if
technically
you
just
have these guys,
it breaks down the bacteria. That the bacteria first the bacteria
it's
breaks
poop.
down the organic matter, and then the nematodes eat the bacteria, and then it poops out the bacteria as nutrients for the plants to
It's
eat.
poop. It's poop, dude. Everything's based on
It's
poop.
poop.
Poop, poop, poop. All right, let me try and find another one. This is a
Wow.
great sample because I can find like 4, 5, 6 different types. I've got 2 here. This is an insane sample. Coming into view. Nope.
Almost there, almost there. I saw two. Oh, they're moving really fast. Oh, it's a one little guy and one big one.
That's a very big one. That's a full size adult. That's a crazy one.
But this
So
time I don't
this
see
sample,
black dots.
it's a. I'm not at 400 magnification,
Ah,
but
but it is,
100.
I see.
The black
So
dots
is
are
this also
everywhere.
a bacteria? Is this also a
That
bacteria feeding one?
I have not properly looked. That one is. Hold on. Let me find it. Okay. Okay. I lost it.
Oh,
This.
wow.
Hold on. Can you see the mouth?
Oh my. Oh, I see it. I think I saw its throat.
Yeah.
What do you
This
call it? Do
is
you call it a
a.
throat?
Uh,
It's
I
moving
don't
through the
know.
organic matter, and I actually see it consume those little guys in the. Oh my god. Ew, Jeff. That's.
This is a big boy.
This is live, right? This is
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
actually happening in your microscope right now. Dude,
This is.
that is trippy, man.
This could be. I'm not really sure, but this could be a predatory, as in a predatory predatory nematode.
Is it? Because
I'm
it looks
I
like it's eating bacteria, though. This is great magnification.
Yeah, I mean it does. It'll eat everything, but its favorite food is nematode,
Other nematodes.
especially the root feeding nematode. So you want this bad boy to eat the root feeding nematode. This is my guess.
Wow, it's really pushing it through.
Yeah, this thing is big. It's really big.
So this is soul food web. Like one question to get a bit slightly off tangent. What's on our vegetables and fruits then? Like organic fruits, organic vegetables. What would you find it? What microbes would you find on its surface?
I should be able to find all this. All that you're seeing here, all that I see here, it should be there. Amoebas, nematode, bacteria, maybe a little bit of fungal, not too much.
So all this is
Yeah.
still present in our produce.
Yeah. Well, no, in the soil. It's in the soil.
Yeah,
The
what about
plants just
produce?
feed off the manure of it.
Well,
Look at that thing. Woo! Can you see it eat?
I think so. I see its head moving really aggressive. You're
No,
not. It's not.
no, that's because of the connection. No, that's because of this. If I get it's my thing magic. I forgot. Brain's not working.
So this is zoomed out, right? This is zoomed out.
Yeah, yeah. So my guess
So
is
what is
this
it?
is a predatory nematode. That's my guess.
Wow. Ew.
Slow. Oh,
But
here
it
comes
is
another one.
alive.
Oh, this sample is alive. This sample is really good. So you take this sample and then you give it to your soil or you give it to your potted plants. That's how it can get better. All right. So I shall try and find more. So that it just means that within this sample there is really, really a lot of nematodes, which is very, very good. Very good. Woo. Here's another one. We love looking at nematodes. It's so much fun. And this is I think it's another predator. What you can't see on your screen, there's a lot of smaller microorganisms that's just flying left to right. You can't see them, but this is
Wow.
a very healthy, very, very healthy soil. Hold on, this could be an omnivore. There's a little,
So like these
yeah,
nematodes, do they have any organs or
yeah, they do, they
it's
do.
like it looks like they look like a tube of just a
Yeah,
tube of mouth and stomach.
that's it, man. That's what it is. And surrounding it is just plenty of organic matter,
Bacteria.
bacteria. There's a there's probably some fungal somewhere.
Do they
Some,
multiply with eggs?
that's a good question. I don't know how to answer that.
Well,
I'm still beginner. Yeah,
so you can
but I
get
can.
so you so all this is in your vermicompost.
Yeah, this is only one. This is only one
Yeah, this
ml.
is the plug. This is the plug, Jeff. You see it? This is from your compost here.
Yeah, yeah, awesome.
So all these nematodes, microbes are present in your compost. You put in your plot, the
Yeah,
pot like that, and then feed it organic matter, the mulch I put there. that is supporting its soil food web. Is that how it works? Like the basic way,
That's it.
just like that. It's still alive, my rosemary. So that's great. That's great. Wow, look at that aggressive movement, dude.
This one is an omnivore. The one at the top was an omnivore. I don't know what that is. Can't tell. But yeah, there you go. Going on my eyes. Yeah, so there you go. Using the
How about
microscope. What?
how about protozoas? Have
You
you?
can't. I mean, you can, but it's quite hard for you to see it online.
Okay, okay. But you see
Too
it
fast.
though.
It'll be too fast.
Whoa. That shows how alive your compost is, man.
This one. Okay, hold on. Let me.
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
So, protozoa is like ciliates. Ciliate is protozoa.
Mm.
Amoeba, okay, I think I can assist. Okay, since you asked for a protozoa, let's see if I can find it. Oh, that could be it. Nope. No.
So is it safe to assume the common majority within the majority microbes within the soil is bacteria?
No, it's a mix. I guess yes, there's bacteria present, but let's say in the jungle, in jungle you have it's more mycelia dominated than it is. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Oh,
See it?
is that there? That tadpole looking thing?
Yeah, that's a what is this? This is a
Ew. Look, there's two of them. So that's a protozoa? No way. Ooh. Oh, it's
yeah.
coming, it's coming. Wow. Wow, wow. It's like
That is a rotifer. Rotifer.
what
Let's
do
see.
protozoas consume?
Bacteria. Bacteria.
Oh, look at it. It's so cute. Oh,
Uh-huh.
did it eat it?
You look at the belly. The belly
Yeah.
full of bacteria. It'll digest that,
Wow.
then it'll
And
poop
poop
it
it
out.
out.
Yep.
So like an average um farm soil, if people like, let's see if I can share that screen again. Like that durian plantation. So if a person with this farmland like the durian plantation here, would you find those ciliates, protozoas, and nematodes easy compared to your vermicompost? What would you
No,
find here? What would you find
not
here
much.
in this type of soil?
Not much. Not much. Mostly bacteria. A lot of bacteria. I would not. I don't want to assume, but I don't have high expectations.
Mm.
They're munching on something.
How about arthropods? What do they consume? Do they consume the nematodes and the protozoas, or do they consume bacteria
After
as well?
they'll consume these guys.
They consume those protozoas and nematodes.
Yeah, they should do. Woo, look at that.
What has it eaten? Oh, look at that.
I have
I
no
can see
idea.
its mouth.
You sure? Oh yeah, yeah.
It has
If you look long
finger-like.
enough, what?
Looks like it has fingers in its mouth. It looks like a hand that's grabbing the food, the bacteria.
Yeah. You watch it long enough, you can see it poop.
Jeff, I think I saw it poop.
I
There, is it there? Is it pooping right now, or is that the mouth?
think that's the mouth.
No, the thick end. Is that the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the
I think that's a poop, man.
Whoa.
Oh, hold on.
That's a big belly, dude.
Oh, there's a lot of food for it. It's so happy. All right, let me try and find another. So this is when you get these sort of samples, it's super cool. A lot to find. When it works, this is the power of worm poo too. It's super good. What you doing?
I'm trying to figure out the question. So worms,
What question?
they where would worms be in the soil food web? Like their position. What would they eat?
Above nematodes. No, the worms consume all this as well.
So worms also eat nematodes.
Yeah.
So worms are within the level of the arthropod. So they eat the nematodes, they eat the protozoas,
Yep.
and then they poop out nutrients for the plants
Yep.
to consume. Wow. So do the bacteria and fungi eat the poops from these predators? Do they eat the poops of the worms?
That's a good question. Do they eat the poop of the worms? Do they eat the poop of the worms? No, I don't think so. Bacteria should be from waste material,
From
decomposition,
the organic matter
from
that's
organic matter.
decomposing.
Yeah, it should be from bacteria. Leaves, grass, vegetables, fun, mycelia, carbon, wood. It eats that.
So in your microscope, can you see carbon? Can you see nitrogen?
No, how you can see nitrogen? No, 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 no.
Yeah, I have
It's not
I
about
have no
that.
experience.
No, it's not about. It's not about looking for nitrogen or is it looking for carbon. It's not about that. It's about
Okay.
looking at the life. The life is what counts. Is the
Yes.
life that is through the life and death. Then the manure. Then the manure will give the nutrients that the plants need, and on it goes. Then the plant will die. The carbon, the fungi will consume. The leaf,
Yeah.
the bacteria will consume, and then goes round in a circle. Hence, it doesn't stop. If everything
Hence the
works, it's
cycle.
always like that. You understand?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's like that. So I don't see no more rotifers. I was
Oh, I see nematodes.
yeah, that one is constant. There's a lot. There's really, really a lot. I think it's a spore. Nope.
That's a big nematode.
No. I think it's just. I'm not sure.
Wow.
Like for this sort of sample, I expect to see lots of bacteria, hardly any fungi.
Well, you say hardly any fungal?
Yeah, because it's worms. Worms are bacterial based.
I see. Okay, okay. So if you like take a sample from biochar, what would you see on a microscopic level if it's
Not
not
sure.
inoculated?
Just caverns, caves, not much. You okay?
Can you see COVID in your microscope?
No. That's a different animal, please. No, please, no, please, no. Yeah, so the aim for this is just to test a sample, make sure everything's inside, uh, quality, good quality, and then I can give it to the plants. So by going through this method, you have a you're 100% sure of what you're giving instead of blindly giving.
Yeah, yeah. Going back to for the viewers, so now they actually let's say in the case where they get a view of the microscope level of their soil sample, and then they know that their soil isn't, full of life, full of protozoas and nematodes. Is there an easier way for them to bring it back to life? Is there any more supplemental way besides adding organic matter?
No, You got to add organic matter either in the form of
Chop and
uh,
drops,
yeah, you got chocolate drops, you got composting, you got
composting,
enzymes,
biochar.
biochar, inoculated biochar,
So
enzymes, organic matter,
there's a lot
organic
of
matter.
so there's something for the viewers to play around, I guess you can say.
If you're not sure, just ask for help. That's all.
Mm.
All right, dude, my eyes are burning. My eyes are starting to hurt.
Yeah, we look like we hit a good mark, an hour 40.
So you get again, again here.
We've hit a good time mark. We've been live for an hour and 40 minutes. What is that you're showing right now? That big.
Yeah, so what that is air pocket.
Oh, okay.
That's an air pocket. It's time to renew the sample in a way. Yeah, so time to renew this sample. All right, my eyes. I need a break. My eyes hurt. Take it away, man.
Yeah, no problem. So for for the viewers, you guys saw just like the first hand practical version of Soul Food Web. The main message of this episode or this segment is to just showcase how important the foundation is and like what is the foundation, what is the true foundation, and from lack of better terms, what's the true foundation for your farm is your soil microbiology. If you understand what soil food web's all about, again, you can look up Dr. Elaine Ingham online for more. It's basically creating a ecosystem that works in your favor. You need to create a healthy ecosystem that goes beyond your eyes, which is the microscope for this episode. Yeah. And with patience and time, that healthy ecosystem will manifest and then reward you with beautiful crops. All you need is patience and the right understanding. Would you agree, Jeff?
Yeah, man.
You look like a
Eyes.
you look like a trapped scientist stuck in a science lab.
Ah, yeah. Just by going into the using the microscope is just a way to confirm what is there and whether it's whether it was done correctly. I do this together with what's it called? When I do my compost tea, I'll take a
Yeah.
look through the microscope too to make sure everything is okay. I want to get it right. Don't want to make a total mess. So I always
So
take a look through the
it's
microscope.
basically for authenticity at your end. No,
Yeah, yeah. So that's what
okay.
this is all about.
That is true. We're all about authenticity. Ah, wow. So any closing remarks for our viewers about Soul Food Web? Like what's the like if you had one sentence to do it, what's your advice for an average farmer in Brunei to achieve healthy soul food web?
Uh, how to achieve it? Educate yourself. Educate yourself. Find out more. If you don't know, ask for
Ask.
help. Yeah, just ask. Just ask for help and tune in for more ideas. We for right now, it's an impromptu. We're not well. We're not that probably prepared because we just thought of something and we're supposed to do something else. Wait, what's that? What was that?
I got Kai on call.
Guy is on the road right now.
Wait.
Going to my editor.
Yeah, for a while. He's on the road.
No. We'll just do it a different time. Just ask for help. Trust me, if you concentrate on soul food web, your crops grow so much better. And you got to utilize what we have. Use the climate, use the weather, use the soil, use the vegetation, grow more crops, but grow them that in a way that they all help each other. They're not too far apart. One crop will help the other crop, that will help the other crop. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, we'll go through it some other time. And yeah, so, but trust me on that, it makes life so much simpler.
That's great, man. And if you have more questions, you can hit us up on our Instagram. I'm the Grays on Instagram. Everything in lowercase, the underscore Grays. And you can find Jeff on Instagram as well. He's also known as the Tropical Farmer. Okay, Jeff, you really look like a scientist.
Yeah, since I got the monitor up, I'm just gonna do a bit of testing on the new compost that I have. The one with the biochar.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you think we can talk about your biochar in the future?
Yeah, sure. Future wise. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So that
All
is
right.
all. That is that is all from us tonight. Thank you guys for watching, and expect more. Yes, stay tuned for more to come. All right, bye everybody. Okay.